Hello, everybody. You're watching the Smoking Hot Coffee Show, where we talk to entrepreneurs and startup founders. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm joined with,
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Pelton down here in San Diego.
and we have another amazing interview for you today from a new startup. He's still in beta, and he's in the ideation phase where the crowd kind of comes up with idea fragments to coalesce to a larger idea. So if you're a startup and you need fresh ideas for your startup, for your idea, this will be a perfect service to use. Jeff, what was your takeaway from today's interview?
Oh, this is just a crazy cutting edge idea. This startup brought it up on the screen here. It's you develop ideas, innovate fast. So they provide a crowd to help you source the best ideas. And like you said, they turn them into idea fragments for which you can curate and kind of boil around these ideas, find the best ones. They even do some interesting things in the application to help spur people's ideas by kind of cross-pollinating the ideas and different mechanics like that. It was really interesting to see the product.
Yeah, this whole area, the ideation phase, or just the organic redeveloping the idea before you get into building the product or figuring out the product market fit, is very, very important, and is really not an area that has enough light and enough research on, in my humble opinion. And so when I came across this, we had to get this guy on. He was really generous enough to show us a little bit of his back end and what the product is looking like now. He walked through how these questions are posed and how to take existing ideas from the crowd for you to sort of comment and to create to remutate it, to come up with your own variation on it. I thought that was really great. He talked a little about how to take an idea of what the percentage is from the idea fragment space to the actual possible idea that a seller or a buyer could get from there. We talked a little about how once he comes out of beta, how he's gonna build a marketplace, how he's going to find the crowd, how he's going to find the solution, people that are looking for the solutions, what mechanisms are out there, the AdWords and Facebook and all that kind of thing. So we talked a little bit about that. Jeff, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I mean, we covered quite a bit here. I think it's great. Ideas are so intangible, right, that it's tough to kind of wrap your head around the physical nuts and bolts of this product and how I think the better idea you have of your problem and the solution you're going after, the better your odds are going to be as a startup.
Right.
So when you talk about every startup really needs this ideation phase, the more you know your problem, the more you kind of dive in through this sort of means, I think the less risk you're going to have in your startup, the better chances you're going to have. So I think, like you're saying, more people need to be front-loading their startup development with a tool like this.
Absolutely, I completely agree with Jeff. I don't think there's enough energy put into this part. And even when you're pivoting, and even when you're trying to figure things out and trying to get people to pay for the service or product, you should still be ideating and coming up with new ways of tweaking the thing. And Yutongo, in this case, could be a perfect product to help you in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that people know how to do that. Like, it's so intangible. We're talking about ideas here. It's so difficult to really formulate that I think this tool helps make it a little bit more tangible and help you sink your teeth into the problem.
Yeah, and I've got a huge soft spot for crowdsourcing and for crowdsource type foundational as a foundation for a startup. I love this stuff, Jeff, as you know. I like the fact the contests are used to create the crowd and stuff. He talks briefly about that. And ultimately, guys, you're going to get a little sneak peek into the actual product itself. I think that part is really invaluable, so I highly encourage you to continue watching. If you're listening just on the audio podcast, to flip over to YouTube and watch it there, because there's some really cool screens that he shows and the process and all that.
Yep, absolutely. We love doing the Hangouts because it's quick and easy, but one of the beauties of the format of the video allows us to actually screencast a lot of the products that we look at on the show. And for us, for me as a product manager, it's just invaluable to actually see the beef, right? And especially when we're talking today about something that's so idealistic, it's great to see the actual meat and potatoes, how it works,
Yeah,
which we got to see
absolutely. Yeah, we have to actually see the magic behind the scenes, and so
today.
definitely check out the video for that. And with that, I'd like to cut to the interview. Though before we do, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us comments. We really help. It really helps us keep going. Same thing with the iTunes. If you're a podcast listener, please subscribe to our show there, and let your friends or family know about our show. All right, well, thank you so much for coming on today. I've been excited about having you on, Sandro. Tell us a little bit about your startup, the space you're in, how long you've been doing this, how many people are in the company, if you're funded or if it's bootstrapped. Give us a little bit of detail of your history and your beginnings.
Okay. Well, Yutongo is an idea crowdsourcing web application. We're based in Switzerland.
Okay.
We have two founders. One is me, Sandro Morghen. Our CTO is predetermined. We've been around playing with this thing the last 2 years, but we got some kind of seed financing last year, and are now able to finalize our application as we actually imagined.
Imagine back then. Right. Wow, that's exciting. So you got a little bit of money. So you're focused a little bit now. You've got a little bit of your early product out. I was looking at the video earlier, and it is beautifully produced, by the way. Whoever is the animator and the music, it's gorgeous. I love this beautiful video you have up here.
Thanks. It was made in Argentina.
It was where? Say that again.
In Argentina, they made it in Argentina. We're really happy about it.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so give us, and I've been doing this whole internet thing for many, many years. I've seen, startups that try to crowdsource ideas and make money off that come and go. What makes you different? Why do you think you guys will survive? Are you making money? Give us a little bit about that.
Okay. We analyzed the market very closely the last 2 or 3 years, and we recognized that most of the competitors actually have followed the same scheme. We have open innovation platforms where people can participate in contests.
Okay.
Exactly. We analyzed the competitors of the past 2 or 3 years really closely, and what we saw is that we have a lot of competitors and the same pattern they follow. It's open innovation. One thing, it's contest based. Those platforms, where people participate and they paid a reward once the idea is chosen. That's one thing.
Right.
The second thing, it's really expensive for a solution seeker, so it's not self-service.
Okay.
It costs $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 one project.
Okay.
And it doesn't follow a creative process, really. It's just, as an innovator, you're just confronted with a form, and then you're asked to be creative and to just drop their ideas. It's more idea collection, but not idea creation.
Oh, interesting.
And this is actually where we come in.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so you mentioned that it's expensive for buyers that are looking for these ideas. You also mentioned that maybe the contest-based mechanism may not be the best, possibly, and also in the past we've found that it tends to be just collecting of ideas as opposed to curating and helping the idea, nurturing the ideas, and maybe even a process behind that. Am I hearing that right?
Less creative.
That's correctly that's where we actually there was the beginning of Yutongo for our idea.
I watched your video and I was so impressed by the way you broke down the idea fragments, the recombination of the idea fragments into another possible idea, a whole, and then grouping that idea whole and then having the buyer select. I thought it was really great. I have to tell you, Sandro, this area of ideation, in my opinion, is going to be a huge market if somebody can get in there and win and even possibly get a stake in the possible product or services that can come out of it. I think it could be a massive business in the future.
I think so too. That's why we started Yutongo in the first place.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so we see a clear problem here. So how are you guys filling that? How are you guys attacking this problem?
Well, we actually faced those 3 points I was pointing out earlier. We're faced with 3 strategies. One strategy is we want to offer customers and solution seekers an easy plan, $49 a month.
Okay.
Fair prices. You want to scale really. It's not only for the upper, like the Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000. We're more for the Fortune 5 million. So it's a
Okay.
web-based application.
Oh, interesting. Okay, Fortune 5 million. I like that. Okay.
And the second thing is each innovator who participates in a process is actually paid. Doesn't matter if his idea wins or not, because our process is designed in a way that people are going through these sub-questions and collect those idea fragments,
Okay.
and then all those idea fragments go into one pot. And the thing is, in the second phase, all the innovators are accessing all the materials and are creating new combinations. So there's not really an inventor of an idea, because it's a real crowdsourced, it's a real collaborative product. So there's
Okay.
no way you can identify an idea owner in a way. So that's our second goal, is to actually fairly pay people based on their time.
Okay.
And you can rate people, of course, so you can track their performance, etc.
Okay.
And the third thing is our creative approach. So we have a structured process. We split down a complex problem into many sub questions.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay. I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to interrupt you here really briefly. Okay. So we've heard of the gurus out there in the in the sort of creating idea space. One book that comes to mind is this book by this guy. I forget his name, called Lateral Thinking, where you're supposed to think of ideas and try them, and what would a helicopter pilot approach this problem as opposed to, let's say, a doctor, or opposed to different professions, or imagine the problem as some other object, noun, or place, or obviously asking questions, creating these sort of tasks, idea fragment development tasks, let's say. How I guess I'm trying to find, how do you control ideas? How do you focus them, and how do you make sure people stay on the same page? How do you change that funnel? Like, how do you, when you get a bunch of ideas, and then how does that all work? This seems like a very hard problem to me.
Balance the creativity and all that.
Yeah, and make it practical. Or when do you know? Are there people in there moderating? Okay, you guys are getting too far off topic here. Stick to the. How are you guys doing that?
Well, it's not moderated. It's a step-by-step challenge creator, and you actually ask to split down your idea project into several sub-questions. So the application encourages you to define several sub-questions for one problem. Let's imagine you want to look for ideas for a new beverage.
Okay.
So
let's say a new beverage. Okay.
You would encourage solution seekers to come up with questions like, how could you open and close a beverage, or what could be a flavor, or what could be a name of a beverage?
Gotcha.
We encourage solution seekers to first come up with questions that focus on small sub-aspects of the problem,
Okay.
and then the application really supports you with setting up a process, and then you give those questions out to the crowd, and the crowd goes through all of these questions like parallelly.
Okay.
And we're going to collect a whole lot of idea fragments.
Interesting. So let's say, would somebody like yourself get on a Hangout or a Skype call or in person? Let's say you're dealing with a product manager from Coca-Cola or an ad agency, or let's say, and say, all right, guys, why don't you use our platform? We're going to ask you a series of questions to figure out how we can innovate on the customer experience of, let's say, drinking a new Coke or coming up with a new Coke brand. Am I hearing that right? Is that how you would approach it, and then do an in-depth interview and then go to the crowd?
It's self-service. So we have an application. People start a project, and as I said, it's a step-by-step process. Even for setting up a project, or even setting up a project is some sort of a creative process.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
we're asking people about their task. So
Okay.
I think innovation starts with a task. Innovation doesn't go out in the blue. Every time mostly people in companies have specific problems. They need a new beverage product for summer, or they need a solution for a technical issue, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they go to our application, set up a process, and try to collect solutions from our innovators, or from their employees, of course. You can mix it. You can allocate different tasks to the employees and allocate tasks to innovators in the world, or you can even ask us housewives in the Philippines what's their what their issues are with ironing, if you looking for this for new iron.
Have you considered possibly building a relationship with companies like Yammer that are doing sort of Twitter for big corporations, and maybe connecting the social network within a large 20, 30,000 employee company with some of the innovation tasks, maybe seeding innovation tasks within their Twitter stream or their internal company stream?
Yeah, there are a couple of candidates which we could be seeking cooperation with, but further we really want to focus on finalizing the application and collect experience with in a commercial a test of our startup, and then maybe go to potential partners and seek for
Gotcha. So it's a little too early, but I could totally see these innovation tasks.
Sure, me too.
And this whole wizard being plugged into a large company that have lots of employees doing different departments, different things, and maybe coming up with solutions to problems that all these different companies and their different departments face. Could be a very big win for you. Okay, so give us some examples here of some clients or early customers and some wins, for instance, or some case studies.
We ran some tests where it was for a tooth, or I'll see the word in English. They make artificial teeth. It's a company in Switzerland.
Okay.
And they were seeking for ideas for new ways to build up artificial teeth, and we asked.
Artificial teeth. New ways to make artificial teeth.
New ways to implement it, material, features, etc., etc.
Okay.
We were splitting down that process by ourselves in our application, in our prototype, which is not live anymore. And we invited about 230 thinkers and collected about 1,500 idea fragments and about 500 specific ideas.
Whoa. Okay. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna slow down here. I want to write this down. Okay. So with the artificial teeth project, you got how many idea fragments?
About 1,500 idea fragments.
1,500 idea fragments. And what exactly is an idea fragment? Can you define that for me?
It's a fragment which could be a part of an idea.
Okay.
I make an example, really an easy one.
Sure.
If you ask people, if you have a camera, a digital camera, this is one idea fragment, and if you have a cell phone, that's another idea fragment. If you combine it, you have a smartphone which takes photos. That's basically the mechanism which we use in all of our creative processes. So we collect small fragments which could be part of the solution, maybe standalone or maybe combined with in another combination, and which actually evolves to something new. And our application guides people through the process of collecting idea fragments and make those combinations.
Gotcha. So an idea fragment could be really just bundling two different things together. That could be one example of an idea fragment. Okay. And would you even employ the crowd to validate? So then you validate these idea fragments, and then the best idea fragments come to the top, and then
how are you curating all the fragments?
The fragments are curated by the crowd. So from fragments to specific ideas, it's only 15 or 20 minutes. So people go through a whole process of different sub questions, collect fragments, and in the last step of the creation process, as the dessert, if you want to say so, they make the combinations, and then you have maybe a list of maybe 100 or 150 potential specific ideas which could be which are innovative or which could be presented to somebody else.
Gotcha.
And then you will make a top list. You can do that in our application.
Okay.
You define also criteria, quality criteria for the project.
Okay.
And then you can ask other people
Right.
to rate those ideas against the criteria defined. So that's another feature of the applications. You can rank ideas according to different criteria.
Gotcha. Okay, so so the way I see it is this idea of fragments is more like a brainstorming phase. Then it gets bubbled up to the sort of vetting phase where they
Yes.
battle each other and they get vetted, and then maybe out of 1,500, would you say 20, 30 out of that? Is that a fair amount?
I would say it's normally it's 10%. So if you have
10%,
1,500 ideas, you have 150 specific ideas. In the tooth page, in the tooth project, it was 1,500 to 500. It depends, but normally it's 10%.
Gotcha. Normally it's 10%. Okay, and then 10% ideas get vetted by the crowd again, and then those 150. Then what happens next? Do you have any illustrators? Do you have people that write stories behind these ideas to try to sell them to the potential? I mean, what's the next step here to take the 150 to the 1 or 2 or the 5 or 10 best?
Well, from the 150, maybe you choose 100 for criteria rating, and after that, you have rank lists, you have comments, etc., and then you can make exports. And now I think it's up to the innovation process of the customer. So we are only in an application. We are not an innovation consulting company. We're just an application, and we're just basically we're a little bit like a Google Docs. We're a little bit smarter.
Yeah. No, I get it. So yeah, then the deep work that might need to take these final 100 ideas, that's up to the customer, you're saying.
Yeah, he gets all the reports with the values, but at some point, some customers all have their innovation gate processes where they evaluate 50 or 100 ideas for a specific task. So I don't think that's our job. Our job is to provide from the briefing to the final list or the top list for 50. That's what our application does. It's
Gotcha. Okay, I get this. I think this is great. Jeff, what's your feeling?
Yeah, this is awesome. So you mentioned that more than just the ideas that get picked they get credit for it. How does that work? How's the compensation for picking, for coming up with the great idea fragments?
That's great. Yeah. How are these crowd compensated?
The crowd is compensated by a time. They apply for a job. So maybe there is a job. You're brainstorming for beverages. Expected time 20 minutes. Pays $10. It's a deal. You take it, you don't take it, and after the end, after 48 hours, after the idea challenge is finished, you get your payment. By PayPal, it's all automatically set up by our application. Of course, there are some escalation procedures if somebody only is writing ISDF and something like that. But basically, if you hire somebody, you can hire people, so they have to apply or can invite. If you hire somebody, you pay him. That's that's our policy.
I mean, awesome. Jeff knows I'm extremely passionate about crowdsource models. Many of them don't work, but I'm always looking to companies that have figured out the right mix of fully crowdsourced community, just everybody in the public, or a curated, vetted crowd. How are you dealing with that? I mean, do you just let anybody join, or are you vetting any of these people? What's your process there?
In the beginning, we were thinking we were open innovation, but actually now we are not. Yutongo is not open innovation. Yutongo is idea crowdsourcing, and people normally are applying for jobs. They apply for a process. They get invited or not, or they can be invited. And normally in a project like that, where you have 1,500 idea fragments and 100, 200 specific ideas, you don't need hundreds of people. You need 20 or 30 people in the right mix, female, male, different countries. So it's more of a curation, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Sandro. I think you really should. In this case, I think, especially maybe in the second phase where you're kind of vetting things, it helps to have people that are a little bit more experienced and maybe a little bit, I don't even want to say more creative, but just a little bit more, I don't know, intelligent, maybe more mature. I don't know if that's even the right word, but
I experienced, because this whole process, I'm doing this for 10 years, more than 10 years,
Really?
not in the web, but
Okay.
offline. So I took this experience for my professional life and actually transforming into web applications. So in my experience, it's best if you have a crowd of many different people from many different countries, many different backgrounds. And of course, you need to have some kind of interest and some kind of motivation to participate in the process.
Of course,
and that's why we ask people, why do you want to join? And also
good. Awesome.
Yeah, how are you attracting this crowd? How do you get such a diverse, experienced, talented, creative crowd of people?
That's a good question. We are now in a pre-sign-up phase right now, which is just basically encouraging people from all the world to sign up and just to get until we're starting, and then we're asking people to fill up a profile. Also say something about them, what their interests are, what their special skills are. Maybe somebody is specialized in I don't know, in ironing or carving wood or whatever.
Right.
And I think it's okay if people are motivated just because they want to earn money. And I think that's a completely fair motivation. But it can be still, if you want to work for money, you still have to be proof that you're creative, you're interested in the job. I think it's a mix of both. But the basic motivation, I think it's okay if it's money. I mean, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, of course. So, Sandro, give us your background. I mean, you said you've been doing this offline. That piqued my interest. Well, how did you fall into all this stuff?
Well, I'm a studied hotel manager, and I worked for a company which did innovation services for 15 years. Not in the market anymore, unfortunately. And there I was a creative director. I conducted over 600 projects for small clients, but also for many of the Fortune 500 all over the world. From Perth to Addis Abeba to New York, and I've seen into many companies, and I've seen into many companies how to work with their innovation process, and Yutongo is and also my colleague, which I met in a company, is our vision to actually materialize this experience into web applications. So that's our vision.
Gotcha.
Bring this into web.
I think this is really awesome. I'm glad you have a lot of off-world experience that you're bringing to the online world. Do you mind if you can share your screen and maybe show us a little bit about the back end? Maybe show us how this thing works. Sure. Show us a little bit of the magic. Give us a little bit of the juice. Give us a little taste.
I click on the screen share, right?
Yes.
Yeah, in the top left, the screen with the arrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the screen when I this is our staging server, so
that's fine. You can.
It's not live yet. This is the dashboard when you log in.
Okay, we're not seeing it yet, so you need to select the specific window that you're comfortable with showing. You don't have to show us everything, of course. Just the specific window that you're good with. And I know we're putting you on the spot here, so don't worry. We'll edit this piece out.
Yeah, we really appreciate though to get to see it, the product in action.
Yeah.
Yes. Where do
in the top left, there's a below the chat button. There's a screen share.
Screen share.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't see it, maybe it's in the. Maybe you have to go into more apps. The 3 dots.
I don't really use Hangout that often.
Yeah. It is pretty new. So I know some people aren't used to it. We literally. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we saw you sharing one window. Now you just need to share the window with your application.
Do you see something now?
Not yet.
We're still seeing you.
Windows. Right. Oh, it asks me to.
Yeah, okay, now we're seeing us. So you're sharing the Google window. That's good. Now we just got to get you to share your application window. Or you can bring it up in here if, I don't know if that'll work, if you want to create a new tab. There is a dashboard. Maybe you could just click on that tab.
You see something?
Yeah, we're seeing your screen now. So just click on the dashboard, which is the very first tab in that in this window. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
Okay. You see it? Okay.
Yeah, it's still coming up. There we go. Awesome. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. All right,
okay.
cool.
Oh, we love to see this stuff.
Yeah. This is the meat and potatoes of our show, Sandro. We want to see the magic.
Okay. Well, this is
Plus, you've got such a great photo of yourself here. Look at that.
Yeah, that's well, it's me logged in. I'm Sandro as an innovator.
Yeah.
And great. After logged in, I'm on my dashboard, and I just do what I just imagine. I did all of my application stuff, and I started a process.
Okay.
I click on do it on my tasks.
Okay.
And I come to a start window.
I love this. You got a little wizard going. Okay, very cool. So this is the brief, I guess.
It says something about the project. You can have a look at different pictures. You can download a PDF if you have more information. Then you click on the next button.
Right.
And now it's already asked to come up with a catchy name for a superhero. It's about beverages. So I write, I don't know, Superman. I think this is a nice one. And I go on and on. And I go to the next tasks. And I'm asked a silly question. If you were nature, how would your beverage container look like? Well, maybe like a termite hill or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that could be something.
Okay.
And then I go further. What are funny ways to open and close a bottle and container? Maybe
this is great. This is great.
Maybe a sickle.
Yeah, this is really cool. This helps us get a really good idea of how this works.
This is really great.
Then the guy who created the challenge, he might have uploaded some inspiring pictures,
right.
And I'm asked just by viewing at the pictures, to come up with an idea for a fun beverage product,
right.
And or maybe I want to have a beverage with a magazine. Why not?
Okay, yeah, all right, I see that. You get a magazine with beverage. Okay, interesting.
Cool. So some of the questions are a little more open-ended.
Oh, you are Flavor is the god of flavors. Invent a new flavor. It's choco berry.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Very cool.
And now I'm in the second phase already.
Yep.
Okay.
And I see all those idea fragments from other people
Yeah.
and from mine. And now I'm asked basically to come up with an idea.
Wait, okay, hold on one second here. So these, when you're showing us that, this screen is showing ideas from other people? No.
Yeah, already. Mine and from ideas from the whole crowd. So
awesome.
This all comes together, and when I'm now feel inspired, I see two fragments, or I see a fragment and a picture to come up with an idea.
Very cool.
There's no way you can tell who's the author of the idea. So it's a
very cool, man.
Collaborative.
I love
product.
this. In a way, you're kind
for
of...
those listening, you have on the left and on the right, you're cycling different ideas that people have input, like you just did yourself.
Yeah.
So you're kind of brainstorming how different ideas might connect together, right?
Right.
Yeah, we're brainstorming together without even being connected, really.
Yeah. Wow, this is very cool.
I'm gonna click on the idea button if and I now can write down the idea a little bit more in detail.
Okay.
Doesn't have, I prepared something. I'm not good at it.
Yeah, no,
That's fine. That's fine. No,
Write a title of the idea.
Okay.
Description.
Right.
And could also here actually turn on your webcam.
Gotcha. And then you would see
I
your
don't know
face.
if it works if on Google Hangout.
Right.
And then you could like insert a drawing, a handwritten drawing through the webcam. So that's a cool way to integrate pictures in the app.
Very nice. Very nice.
And if you're done, you can click here, and it says, "Oh, successfully completed ideation process."
Wow.
Great.
And now logging out. I'm logging in as the owner of this challenge.
Okay, yeah.
So
Let's check that out. Yeah.
Very cool.
Jeff, I don't know about you, but I'm loving this, Jeff.
This is super slick. This is a really great way to test your idea.
This is really great. This is really great, Sandro.
Great,
Thanks.
hybrids and
And now I'm click on my own idea challenge, the revolutionize thing.
Yeah.
And I have where I can edit. I have my processes.
Oh, so
And I have my ideas.
Creation, rating, yeah.
Okay, so if you're the owner, do you put up a dollar amount that the amount that you are willing to spend on a solution? Like, do you say I want to pay $50 and split that up amongst the crowd, or how does that work?
Yeah, you would do that here. You would say, do you want to offer compensation? You can say no, I don't want to offer compensation. And maybe somebody is still joining, but maybe not.
Right.
You can say, I want to have $10 per participation. It's US dollars. I want to have maximum innovators.
Yeah.
That the application stops if you have enough innovators.
Yeah.
Okay.
Participation time. This is more like on a trust basis. Just say, look for $20 or for $10. We expect like 20 minutes.
Oh, very nice. This is one of the big problems. People don't want people getting scammed.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you start a timer before the wizard.
We have timers, but more on the different tasks, more on a playful way. So you have 60 seconds to come up with free input, stuff like that.
Right.
You can.
Yeah.
This
This is great. So one of the big problems with people spending money is, of course, they don't want to get scammed. So it's nice that you have a minimum participation time, so that people know that they are spending 20 minutes at least to earn my money.
Yeah, and you're actually able to refuse a payment if you think somebody just wrote 1, 2, 3 or whatever.
Right.
Then it goes on a human escalation process here at Yutongo. But normally, I think you can also say from if you look at the just going back here a little bit.
Okay.
Of course, you can have a look at people before they.
Oh, you can. Okay.
I was gonna ask in the section C below there. Did it
What is
also
it,
show filtering?
This request is empty, but I can have a look at people.
Okay.
It doesn't open. Yeah, this is when it's still developing. From here, you can have a look at people's profile and see how many points, average points they have. Because after each participation, you can rate all the people from 1 to 5. So make sure other solution seekers don't get scammed if there's somebody.
Right. Oh, this is great. This is great.
So you get the reputation
I am
system
loving
with that.
this, Sandro. This is awesome. This is really great. Okay, so show us. Do you have any other?
On the previous screen, in the section, is there a way that you can filter what sort of participants you want for the job?
Yeah, you can just here. Yeah, here.
Yeah, the screen's still updating. It might be a little bit behind you.
Yeah, just a second.
Yep.
Yeah, you can browse. If you invite somebody, add innovators here. You can say
search by skill, interest, and
chocolate.
name is what I saw.
That's great.
You can say chocolate. These people state their interest or skills that have something to do with chocolate. So you can actually browse people by country, interest, skill, etc.
Yeah.
And what's not on here, the app also automatically matches your skills, interests, which you entered with the challenge content.
Okay.
So that you will see here in the dashboard. Because eating chocolate, baking cake, flying coffee, if somebody would own a challenge with something with flying, I would have a notification. These projects.
Sandro, I have to say, it looks very cool. The kind of questions, the way you're putting the two images together to spur other ideas, the concept of taking what other people have put into the system and then further refining that by sending that to other people in the crowd. All of that is very, very neat, man. I have to say it's very impressive so far what you've got. Okay, we've lost your audio now. Your audio is not coming in.
It doesn't always come through. Yeah, I mean, Amul, I haven't seen anyone else online doing quite this.
Sorry, Sandro, we still don't have your audio. On the top right, you should see it. There you go.
Now I'm back.
Okay, you're back.
So what you're doing is so unique, Sandro. I haven't seen anyone else online doing quite what you're doing. I'm really pleased you showed us behind the scenes because I think this is a whole new concept to a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. We have a tough time pitching, I must say, because people mess it up with open innovation, and we have to actually pitch against our shadows, if you want to say so. People think, oh, it's not new, it's not unique. There's open innovation for a long time, and that can be frustrating if you have a 5-minute pitch and want to make the difference clear to people.
Right.
But I also think we are. I haven't seen something like that yet. Luckily.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good and difficult, right? You have to quickly be able. How do you, in 5 minutes, explain this whole new concept to people that just don't understand? Does the video on the homepage help? How does the elevator pitch go?
It's a little bit too late to just come up with an elevator pitch right now. I think what I'm going to make clear what the weaknesses are in current open innovation, and just tell people how we're going to solve it. That's it's actually a 2-step problem. The first problem is people need ideas in companies. Solution would be open innovation, but open innovation itself has a problem. So that's our approach in pitching.
Okay. So what are your big challenges? Obviously, you've got a little bit of seed funding. It looks to me, Sandro, that you've got a pretty good 1.0 up already. What's the next big thing for you? Is it to get the crowd? Is it to get early buyers? To get the next round of funding? I mean, what's on your plate here for the next 6 months?
With the next 3 months, what we are now is to put on the new design you saw on the dashboard. You put it also on the tools, which is actually currently happening. So we're not too far away from the first commercial launch. We had a prototype 1 year ago or a half year ago, up live, where people could test it, and it was all for free, but no closed challenge thing. We took that down and just wanted to go back into our holes and finalize the commercial release.
Okay.
And the plans is to come up with the commercial release in 2 or 3 months, as soon as possible,
right,
and just get a feedback from the market and get subscribers and get innovators. We also have already have some people who are setting the line and want to start projects, but I think the next step is to gain customers. So it's we're not too far away from the commercial release.
Okay,
right?
so have you considered a specific vertical to go after, and for the buyers, for commercial, for the people to look for solutions? Are you going to go after small companies, individuals? How are you planning on marketing this thing?
As I said, it's for the Fortune 5 million. The product. What we're going to do probably is, or definitely going to do, is to talk to companies we know from our personal context.
Yeah, from your own internal network. Good. Yep.
Close beta test, and that for sure.
Yep.
And we're going to make, of course, Google AdWords, Facebook ads for innovators, Google AdWords for businesses.
Right.
Just put them on our landing page and ask them to close a subscription. So that's I think that's the
what are your thoughts with doing any sort of blog writing or content marketing, case studies, that kind of thing? Do you feel like that's a worthwhile effort, or ROI is it there? Or?
Yeah, it's going to come. We were focusing really a lot on the application right now. I started a blog months ago. It's called bootstrapstartup.wordpress.com.
Oh, really? What's the URL on that, Jeff? Can you pull that up?
Bootstrapstartup.wordpress.com.
Okay, so it's a WordPress subdomain. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
pull that up,
and
Jeff.
I'm just writing about actually the time being as a startup and how to deal with stuff. It's more. It's not on innovation. It's more on being a startup.
Okay.
But that's your audience, right? That's who your potential customers are.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But of course, to be in blogs, in tech blogs, is also public relation things. Already did that already. But it's a mix. So, but mainly to get I don't know, to gain a a constant flow of traffic, Google AdWords is a good choice.
Yeah. No, Google AdWords definitely will get you the traffic. I don't know how expensive the keywords are that you're going for.
It depends. It depends. They're quite okay. They actually already did some testing, obviously, and we are on a business plan with that, so that's all fine.
Okay.
But there's other things in Google AdWords. It's not only Google AdWords and Facebook. I also was experimenting a lot with different approaches last 4-6 weeks to get pre-signups, and I'm going to use these experiences and to come up with a marketing plan when you get started, but it's still in the making, so I couldn't present you a
right. No, it's totally understandable. I'm just wondering. Okay, so you experimented a little bit with AdWords, possibly within Facebook, LinkedIn. Obviously, there's a lot of professionals on there. I wonder if that'll end up converting for you.
LinkedIn is really expensive.
It is expensive. Yeah.
It's too. I mean. Obviously, people are there. It's really an interesting crowd, but it's $2 a click.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. So, what have you found? Have you done some early studies in terms of conversions? Have you tested any? Like, have you found 1 in 500 converts into at least signing up for something, or what? Do you have any early numbers for conversions yet?
It depends on the channel I use. I would say we have a 10 to 20%, 10 to 15, 20% conversion rate to a pre-sign up.
Okay.
Which in the last 6 weeks. So
okay.
I don't know how it goes in the commercial phase, of course.
Right.
But we're quite happy about that.
Very cool. No, that sounds great. 10% is awesome. 10-20% is great. I found you through Beta List. Have you found a lot of early signups through that?
Yeah, I found Beta List really valuable. I find it's a really good way to get some traffic. People are really obviously really focused on beta and pre-sign-up companies, so it's basically the best place for that. I wish there is more like that.
I know. Well, I can tell you this, Sandro. One of the guests we had on earlier talked about email sequences and autoresponders and dripping out an email campaign. And I remember talking to him, and I said, the biggest area that startups, in my opinion, drop the ball is you'll sign up for a beta, and then they'll send you, thanks for signing up, and then you won't hear from them for 3 or 4 months. And then they'll send you another email, hey, we finally finished our product, go check it out. Or 6 months, go check it out. Where, in my opinion, I think those first 6 months, they could have been sending out an email teaching them about what they're trying to do, teaching people about their process, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, a lot of these 1, 2, 3 people, 5 people teams don't have a lot of time, don't have a lot of energy. So, you've got to focus all your time maybe building the products. I understand that might be the issue, but if you did an email sequence, I think it might serve you pretty well.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. About how I would address the people who sign up right in the last 5 or 6 weeks. They will definitely hear something about that, but it's like a little bit push style. You can piss people really off if you email them too much. So it's
too much. Okay. All right, Jeff, please chime in on this issue.
I love this blog post. I pulled up the blog, and you were talking about the pre-launch sign-up collecting. You've got a list of sources here. You mentioned Beta List. Are any of the others worth mentioning, or anything else from here? You've got earlybird.com, Startup Exchange, 1-800banners.com, Make Use Of, and microworkers.com.
Yeah, I tried all of them. Early Bird, I don't know if you're aware of. It's also an interesting concept where you could where you can present your startup in a little bit deeper, and then people can ask about your startup, your application. They can sign up for. I think a really good thing. Obviously, Facebook and AdWords. 1,800 banners. It's junk, but still, it's traffic.
Right.
I did my experience there as well.
Okay.
And microworkers, I ask people just to post blog posts to say you can earn money when you sign up with Yutongo, and in many countries. So I think that's all different possibilities to address a crowd, because we have two target groups. We have innovators who want to share ideas but also want to earn money, and we have the solution seekers who want to find ideas, and we have to find different ways to attract them. And each measure which brings us a sign up is a good measure.
Yeah.
Great.
Got you. So Jeff, clearly Sandro is very sensitive to too much emailing. What would you say to him?
Well, you know, I think if you email the right time with the right content, you know, hopefully people won't mark it as spam. But, you know, I'm pretty sensitive to too much email as well. But I think you know, everyone emails the gold, right? It's so much more valuable, it seems, than the likes and the other stuff, other metrics out there. So, you know, being able to engage with people through the email is golden.
Yeah, I tend to think, Sandro, that startups don't email enough. That's why I'm saying that you may want to just obviously you don't want to spam anybody, but if you give them really great content, especially about your startup and what you guys are trying to do and your early versions and how do you
I think you guys could certainly, you're in a space that's so fresh that I'm seeking education on it. Like I'm such a layman and an idiot in this space that like any like how-tos or sort of like you know, bring me up to speed articles, I think I would appreciate.
I can tell you, well, I signed up for you guys. I look forward to any emails you have to send to that list, Sandro. How about that?
Yeah, well, there's emails coming definitely, but I still have to work on that still. So we have a huge task list to go.
I know. I know.
But there will be something coming.
I know. Cool. No, I totally understand. There's just
excited.
not enough hours in the day. I totally get it. I totally get it. All right, so tell me about. All right, so we've got the early version. You're saying 2 or 3 months ready for launch. You've got a list of places where you're looking for people to try out your beta. You've experimented with AdWords, Facebook, maybe LinkedIn. It's kind of expensive. Is there anything else that you think that you probably need to work on beyond email that we talked about in terms of marketing to try to get both pieces of the marketplace there? Anything else? YouTube, videos, partnerships, you know, getting on TechCrunch, trying to get the tech bloggers interested. What? Any of those?
Yeah, sure. What TechCrunch is hard.
I know TechCrunch is hard. Yeah.
TechCrunch is hard. Measurable is undoable.
Don't say that, Sandro. It is not undoable. You can do this, man. You just have to build up a relationship with those editors. It takes a long time, though, to build that up. But
yeah, obviously, working with the blogs is in our plan. I think now for the pre-sign up, I think we still used I think an optimal collection of channels for our pre-sign up things. Okay. I also want to save our ammunition when we actually online, when the application is online, and then maybe also attract an approach to editors in the tech blogs.
We had a woman on from Latvia, and she works for an incubator out there in Latvia. And she has had a tremendous amount of success, Jeff, if you recall, doing guest blogs, writing these really insightful 1,500 words, let's say, articles, and then getting them on the Read Write Web or the Forbes.com, that kind of thing, and shopping these things around. So that might be something.
Working with the writers and the editors of these publications and sort of delivering them. You know, an article that they can't refuse, I think, is the the approach that's optimal, right?
Yeah.
But coming from that end of it, I think it is a pretty good idea to sort of give them the article to publish. Is going to make their job a lot easier, and they're a lot more likely to get it in. Is one of the tactics we've heard.
Yeah,
definitely. But I think for that we really need a working application which you can choose. I think the video is nice. But we want to wait until we have a working application, and then go to use these kind of channels.
These guys are going to pick you up. Your guys' product is really awesome, and you're on the cutting edge of this. Again, I have to reiterate, like there's people aren't really familiar with this, sort of concept yet, but I think that really makes it appealing.
Yeah, I was excited to see the back end. I'm actually pretty excited to learn more about how you formulate these questions. How do you take everybody's responses to bubble up? I'd love to see more about that. I know we put you on the spot today, but maybe we'll check back with you in a few months, and maybe you can give us more of a thorough walkthrough. How's that sound to you?
Yeah, and can I give you some experiences how people actually deal with questions. Obviously, in the prototype, people already were formulating questions, so we already tested it. How would people react with this application? And people come up with other questions than I did. It's interesting questions. I think also people will know and explore like their own way how to use this application. Maybe there's no right or wrong to use the application. Okay. And obviously we're also going to provide examples and help. And maybe there's even a helpline if somebody's really lost. And look, yeah. I don't know, pay $50 and we're going to create a question if it's really lost. Yeah. That could be like a side business, but basically the whole thing is self-explainable.
Well, I have to tell you, Sandro, this whole ideation phase, feedback ideation and coming up with mutating the ideas, I think it's a huge, huge area. I don't think there's enough startups tackling this problem. There is a fellow in San Diego called Dane Cook, I think his name, or I forget his last name, but Dane, he runs this thing called Foundation. Have you heard of that?
No.
Foundation.io. He was one of the very popular Mixergy interviews. He basically talks about calling, getting on the phone, serving people in different industries, and then asking about their pain, about their problems, and then asking them open-ended questions, and then basically shutting up and listening, and then asking them, and tell me more, and then shutting up, and tell me more, and then after the third tell me more, that's when you get some really great ideas about what their pains are. And once you can define the pain, then you can come up with some solutions, and people will be more than happy to pay SaaS companies to come up with solutions to these problems. So, and this is all part of ideation,
Yeah, I think it's important for startups to spend more time on the front end, is what you're saying, kind of refining their understanding of the problem and all of this before they start expending resources on it.
Exactly. We're actually unfuzzling the front end of innovation, if you want to say so.
Yeah. That's exactly it. That's why I was very excited to have you on. When I saw you on that list, I was like, wait a second, ideation, yes. Invite this guy to be on the show.
You're in front of the incubators, right? Like we've seen, the Angels and, AngelList and all these other crowdfunding Kickstarters. You're like at the front of that whole line, right? Getting the idea before as it forms.
Yeah, getting the idea. So, so I wish you the best, Sandra. I hope you keep at this.
We will. I'll let you know when you're online. Definitely, you get an email.
Okay. Yeah, we'll check back with you as well, like we do with our other startups, and we want to hear about the announcements and press releases and your progress.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Sandra, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's a good way to get a hold of you, Sandra?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
What's a good email or what's a good method to get a hold of you?
It's Sandro. Morghen, it's spelled MORGHEN .Yutongo.com.
Gotcha. Awesome. So is there anything specifically that you need or you're looking for? Are you looking to hire anybody? Is there anything that our audience might be able to help you with?
We're not hiring right now, but really invited to just pre-sign up, and watch the video, pre-sign up on our website.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
all
definitely.
Right, cool.
Our audience is primed and ready. I'm sure they're typing in the URL right now.
Yeah.
I registered while we were talking on the show, so
right.
This is really exciting, I think, for everyone of our audience who really fits in this category on both sides of it, trying to come up with the ideas and trying to form them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, everybody says, it's all about execution. Everybody has ideas. But I also believe, having really good ideas is not easy. So
it's not easy. It's execution is something else, but having the good idea for the right tasks, That's also a really interesting,
No, that's
important topic.
That's a very important problem, and I'm glad you're tackling it. So my hat's off you, Sandro. I wish you all the best. We will definitely be in touch, and thanks again for coming on our show. Please tell any of your friends and colleagues about us. We'd love to get
Yeah, sure, we will.
On the show and all that kind of thing. And if you know any good startup founders that you think would be good for the audience, we'd love an intro. So we'll definitely be reaching out to you about that.
Actually, there is one. I will email to you.
Okay, that sounds really great. I really appreciate that. So thanks again, Sandro, and we will definitely talk soon.
Thanks again for
Okay,
being on the
thank
show.
you very much for having me.
Yep.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.